Starting with Albert O, the Broncos draft pick at number 118 in the fourth round. We looked at him while he was at Missouri, not from last year, but from 2 years ago when Drew Lock was the quarterback. And I'll start off just with some general impressions. His stat line for the game looked fantastic. I think you have to consider that Missouri was playing Memphis and won the game by, what was it? The final score, 65-33, I believe is the final score. So Albert O caught 6 passes for 159 yards, 3 touchdowns with a long gain of 58. That was on his first touchdown catch of the game, going 58 yards to make it 27-17, I believe. At that point, a little more than halfway through the second quarter, obviously the game became a blowout. You could see the receiving skills, but boy, was he lacking when he had to block.
Yeah. So, like you said, stat line. Well, his stat line is going to be like that. The guy runs a 4.49. So he was probably faster than 2/3 of that Memphis defense, right? I mean, literally, the guy has athletic ability. That's what sticks out when you watch the film. When he gets out there in space, he pulls away from guys. When he has the ball in his hand, the willingness now to go get it, it's there. The desire, and he knows that he's more athletic than a lot of those guys that were on that football field that day. But exactly what you said. When you look at the blocking, now you start questioning a lot because, yeah, you got a speed guy, and you already have a speed guy in Noah Fant. I thought the Broncos were trying to get a guy in here that's more complete. I look at Noah Fant, speed, but as far as the blocking game, the running game, you don't want Noah Fant in there. I look at Vignette. That's the guy that is going to be in there. I look at Andrew Beck. That's the guy that's going to be in there for the Broncos, where their blocking ability now is what's keeping them around, keeping them in the league.
They're
so
just blockers.
I thought that they would try to go get a guy that was a combination of the two, but they went with another guy in Albert O that is very similar to a Noah Fant that can be really special with the ball in his hands. But as far as just blocking in the run game or, having a block on the perimeter now when a wide receiver catches the ball, it's not all there. And for this guy to be so big, you look at some of these plays, Sandy, and he's towering over these defensive backs and these linebackers. You would think that he would just be manhandling them, but the willingness to block is just not there. But as far as a catcher, yeah, he could catch the football. Yeah, he could pull away.
Good hands. Yeah.
He could pull away from guys. He's super fast. I love the pop pass that they ran, very similar to what we saw Noah Fant ran this year against the Houston Texans, but they ran it when he was in school with Drew Lock out of a two-back set where he was one in the fullback position, split out to the left of the quarterback, and they ran a draw action where the linebacker thought that Albert O was going to block him, and then he's able to now slip him and get up the seam and catch the ball and take it to the house. So love those plays, the gadget plays, but he needs to turn into more of a complete player, and he's going to be lacking because of his willingness to block in the run game and block on the edge when the wide receivers catch the ball as well.
I misspoke a few minutes ago. I said he was a third rounder. He's actually a fourth rounder. We all know that. Fourth round, 118th pick overall. 60 picks later, the Broncos take Justin Sternad. We'll get to Sternad in a moment. But my impression as I put the two together was that the fourth rounder should have been the fifth rounder, and the fifth rounder should have been the fourth rounder. A difference of 60 picks.
The film's a lot more exciting, for sure.
Yeah, Sternad was a lot more exciting, and the game was more competitive.
Yeah.
Sternad's game was more competitive. There were more big plays. There was a lot of garbage time stuff when the game was put away. I thought Albert O ran a wheel route that showed off his skills. Light on his feet, 260 pounds. That catch he made off the deflection along the left sideline made a good adjustment. Of course, the competitive portion of the game had ended by then. The most impressive guy, of course, on Missouri's offense was Drew Lock. 23 of 29 for 350 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a QBR, not a passer rating, but QBR of 98.5, which is, of course, off the charts. Yes, he did, I believe, catch a touchdown pass from reserve quarterback Taylor Powell, who finally came in the game in relief of Lock when Memphis had fallen far behind, and Missouri had the game well in hand. But again, we touched on the point yesterday. At a few positions, the Broncos seem to have added players whose skills are virtually identical to other players at their position. And I just don't understand the rationale at tight end.